I'm an idiot.
And we're live. This is the Linchpin Comics brainstorming and pitching live stream. Where it's not just us that's going to be taking part of creative process. You can also participate in the chat. And we have with us our anchor, Artistic Layman.
Hello, everyone.
The colorist, Evil Renaissance.
Hi.
And the penciler, Nonsensical Rants.
Evening.
And also, I'm your host, Rayce Jacobson. I am the one of the writers, the letterer, and the marketer. And so let's get started with this. I think you guys have heard a lot of my ideas before on a previous stream, and I've talked with you guys about what I want to do. I'm curious what you guys want to do.
As far as Linchpin Comics goes?
Yes.
For our own comic book ambitions, separate of yours, because I'm not interested in talking about mine.
Well, yeah, I was mainly talking about Linchpin Comics. That's literally why we're here.
Alrighty. I got to tell you, I have no expectations as of yet. You haven't really given us some. You've only really started on the outline, so we don't know what you have to do with it, let alone what we want to add to it.
I've told you plenty of things. I'll go over them again. See, with Law of the Claw, the story is after the main protagonist's fiance gets killed by Muslims, he makes a deal with the demon to become a hellhound so he can take revenge. And a hellhound is basically just a werewolf that breathes fire. So needless to say, it's going to be fucking awesome.
Are you familiar with the Black Shuck?
The what? Black what?
Black Shuck. S-H-U-C-K.
I have not.
It's a more esoteric demon of Eastern Europe. It's a black hellhound, essentially, and it leaves fiery footprints when it kicks indoors. It takes your ass to hell.
Ooh.
Some people believe that it's the souls of the damned infants who never got baptized.
Oh, Jesus.
Oof.
Never heard of them, huh? No, I have not. But a lot of different cultures have a thing like that. And there's actually, wasn't even aware of this after when I created the Law of the Claw idea. Was that there's actually a book in the 1800s based on a similar premise. It's called Wagner the Werewolf. George, what's his name? I have a paperback copy of it. I haven't read it yet, but from what I understand, it's more or less the same sort of idea. Man sells a soul to devil, becomes a werewolf, and has to serve under that devil. And that's exactly what this is.
Back to Black Shucks, there's actually a great song called Black Shuck. You should listen to it. Just throwing that out there. It might give you some inspiration.
By who?
It's if you go to YouTube, look up Black Shuck, it'll be the first result.
It'll probably be the only result.
No, there'll be other stuff, like little Twilight Zone type fan episodes about him. Yes, it's not a very popular cryptid.
I see black cucumbers, shoes.
But yeah, the
Black Shuck lyrics. Go ahead, Rayce.
Yeah, the idea behind a lot of the aesthetic I want to bring to Law of the Claw isn't just your traditional angels and demons sort of thing. It's like I actually want the underworld, the literal underworld, to be much like modeled after the criminal underworld, the old style 1920s gangsters.
Cool, cool. I dig it.
And because hell is, if you read a lot of the stuff in like the Lesser Key of Solomon, for instance, and a lot of other works based around that, the hell is kind of already built like that, like the old school mafia, because everybody has their different ranks and they all have their responsibilities and all their different things that they look after. Like there's the kings, the princes, and
the dukes.
Marquis. Yeah, the dukes and the marquis. And one of the demon character that we first get introduced to is actually a Duke of Hell, who serves under one of the kings. But yeah, the Duke and people at that level in Hell basically are like the capos, like Tessio or Clemenza from The Godfather. He serves under the Don. Still has a lot of power, but he's not the big boss, right? He's not the Don. And these hellhounds are basically hellhounds are basically the soldiers, the hitmen, who actually kill people for on the Don's orders. But anyways, what were you saying?
I was going to make a Metal Gear Solid 3 joke.
Oh.
So it's going to be in that art style 1920s?
Well, it's going to be set in the modern day, but the aesthetic is going to be like old school Mafia, as far as hell and the demons.
Mm.
In fact, one of the lines in the first scene of A Law of the Claw, it literally refers to the hellhounds as muscle.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, Dick knows about that because he's in addition to being the penciler, he's also the editor. He's looking over the stuff.
Oh, right, yes, I am. I'm like, when did that happen? Oh, all right, I was editing your script. I bet I forgot about that.
Yeah, he's made his own little additions and suggestions as well. Which
only like little stylistic stuff that helps with the comic book panels, like aesthetic things. That he's talking about what the characters say mostly. I add details about what's going on in the background and stuff. That is what you got to keep it. Yeah, I'm also the continuity lawyer at this point.
Lol.
That's kind of the point of an editor, anyways.
Yeah.
I was being a bit of a continuity lawyer, wasn't I?
I suppose. I'm not sure. I've never heard that phrase before. So.
Oh, it's usually referring to people who play RPGs that take place in if you're playing a Marvel tabletop RPG where you're playing superheroes. Like there are people like, what? No, the Dr. Doom wouldn't do that. Shut the fuck up.
Nah.
It's my game.
Oh, okay.
That's
Oho Boogie has some stuff in the chat here. Say aspiring boy band tours to all sorts of places as a pretext to hunt vampires. Oh my god.
That sounds like Supernatural to me.
Supernatural comedy. That sounds hilarious. Some humor in contrast between onstage personas with how they are on the hunt. So basically,
is he pitching a comic book idea in the chat right now? Or
yeah, that's literally what he's doing.
Okay.
He's pitching a boy band, a bunch of vampire hunters who moonlight as boy band who moonlights as vampire hunters.
Well, we've got a group of villains that the character can come across eventually. This boy band group comes into town, starts fucking everyone's shit up, and he has to deal with them.
Let's see, what else do you say? Porn star testifies against mob influence in industry. Mob tries to poison him with experimental substance, but instead he survives as a tentacle monster. Oh, God.
How about we put somebody else in charge of the comments? Hey, Eve, why don't you go ahead and do that?
Hey. I think I'm doing just fine. What are you talking about?
No, it's not that you're not doing fine. It's that you got to lead this conversation. You can't be reading comments while doing that. So you keep leading the live stream.
The whole thing is that the live chat can also participate in the creative process.
Yeah, and do you notice how I read the live chat during my live streams? No, somebody else does that so that I can respond and do all that other stuff. Have somebody else do it so that you can keep the thing on point.
All right, fine. Well, we'll have you do that then.
Is she still here?
Yeah, she's still here. I see her.
I'm still here.
Alrighty. Is that alright, Eve?
I just gotta find the thing.
Yeah, I'll read this last one. I'll read this last one from Boogie. Villain idea. Time-traveling sex tourist doesn't care that he's bringing future diseases into the past and present day. Oh, jeez. Oh.
You have AIDS. Yes, you have AIDS. Not HIV. Nobody full-blown AIDS.
Oh, wow. Wait. I want to go into a song now, but I can't. I'll distract from the stream.
You're a better singer than I.
I like the idea of the aspiring boy band vampire hunter thing.
I like it. I like the idea as a group of villains that the character eventually has to fuck up.
I think it'd just be a fun, a supernatural comedy.
Well, you could create a side series if you're ever rich enough to pay other people to do that.
But yeah, as far as bringing it back to Law of the Claw, one of the things that I wanted to have eventually is after the farther along down the road. I'm not going to spoil too much. Is that he eventually has to detain, I guess you could say, a female hellhound.
Mm-hmm.
Because
detain, you say?
Well, he literally has to put this collar on her that represses her powers because every full moon of the female hellhounds just go nuts.
Okay, I believe you.
And so, that's why female hellhounds are actually outlawed in the Law of the Claw universe. But somebody gets a wild hair up their ass to turn a woman into a hellhound, and naturally that goes south really fast. And eventually she will end up getting her own spin-off comic. It's just called Hell Bitch. Yeah, and that's so far, that's all that I'm willing to say with on this channel about Law of the Claw. Otherwise, I end up going into spoiler territory. Oh, what's this here?
Just a random gangster monster with a gun, with the Tommy gun
and tusks.
Yeah, he's an orc, apparently.
We can make some fire for you.
Yeah, my vision for the hellhound is he looks like a wolf, but his skin is all burned and black and singed. And he has fiery red eyes, like that photo I shared in the Skype chat.
Ah.
That might be, I don't know, can you guys handle that, Eve, Richard?
That's Eve's job. She's the colorist.
No, I mean, as far as because the scorched skin, I'm pretty sure you're going to have to do.
That's it's a simple texture, yeah.
Okay, just want.
Actually, the scorched skin is going to be texturing is halfway the pencil's, halfway the inker's job.
Okay.
But there's shortcuts for creating that kind of thing in digital software.
Okay, use spec. All right, good. Okay, I just want.
Hey, Luke, did you find the Black Chuck song?
Oh yeah. Here, well, I found. Let's see. I did stumble over. I was just trying to find some other references in the meantime.
Alrighty.
Yeah, I just had to ask just to be sure because I didn't to me it sounds advanced, but that's because I don't do that kind of thing.
Like
The Darkness, Black Chuck by The Darkness. I can't do the Dave Chappelle.
Darkness.
Darkness.
Is it this guy?
No. Here, I'll play it. I'll share some sound. Share sounds. How do I share sound?
You can't Google Hangouts. You can only share images.
Well, I got this because I can just play it and put the headphone to the microphone.
Oh boy, I don't know how this works. No, shut it down.
Why? Did the Goyim know?
No, it's scrambly as fuck.
Sorry about that. Sounded good to me, but that's because I have good headphones. You don't. A little bit of echo there too.
Well, I don't even think it's the headphone issue. It's the microphone issue.
Well, yeah, it's hard to share stuff on a Google Hangout.
Yeah, you're just gonna have to share it in the Skype chat, and then we can all listen to it later.
Chuck, Black Chuck, Black Chuck, Black Chuck, Black Chuck. Sorry, it's like an old school rock song. It's awesome.
Yeah.
AC/DC meets Freddie Mercury. Awesome jam.
Anyway, again, I asked about the burned skin thing because to me it sounds fairly advanced. So I just want to make sure that you guys are up to the task.
Well, there are splatter effects that we can alter by. Yeah, we can do it.
Okay.
Actually, here. I'll go ahead and show you a little something right now. How do I share screens on this? Here we go. Screen share. Gauze. Nope, that's not what I'm looking for. effect. This is supposed to be used as a bloodstain effect, but oh damn, the pattern is terrible. Control Shift T. This isn't working the way I was expecting it to. Oh well, I have to create my own. It's no big deal. Creating your own textures isn't a big deal.
Well, I can see it from here.
What do you mean? Oh no, I mean the sharing is working, but I'm talking about using the blood stain effect for a burn mark wouldn't work. What I was thinking would happen didn't work. Oh, that does it. Serve. We could use this to create a simple blood effect. Control Shift T.
Yeah, the one thing I want to mention real quick now that I'm thinking about it is that the comics here are going to be apolitical, because the problem isn't that it's left-wing politics getting shoved in the comics; it's politics period getting shoved in the comics, and I think that's something that Devox Day missed when he was formulating Alt Hero. Now I wish him the best of luck with Alt Hero. I just think the way it looks now. Doesn't look like it's going to go well. He tried to claim on his blog that it is going to be apolitical, but literally everyone who is praising it because it's going to be political, right, in the right wing sense. So either he's lying or his marketing is flawed. So yeah, I just want to make that clear. This is going to be apolitical. Yeah, the Muslims are the bad guys in Law of the Claw, but the Muslims saying that Muslim terrorists want to kill you and that they're bad people, that's not a political statement. That's a factual statement.
They don't say that to the leftists.
And how's this effect coming out? It's coming out weird. But nah, I don't think this comes out of this burn effect. I'll have to create my own. I could put that over skin and it would look interesting, but well, if he has fur, singed hair kind of melts into a plastic-like substance. It could look kind of like that. No, I'm going to stop sharing now.
Yeah, the story still stands up on its own, even if you take out Muslims and put in any other group of people that have a reputation for violence.
So Muslims.
Yeah. But when I first came up with a story back when it was going to be just a novel, it was actually just your standard, ghetto thugs.
Mm-hmm.
But I had the idea to tap into the cultural zeitgeist of the time and actually make it Muslims instead.
Ginger Muslims?
Yeah, ginger. Yeah, one of the Muslims is actually going to be a ginger kid. Think copper cab with a dynamite belt. And I think that's
black dynamite. Dynamite belt. I'm sorry. Like, what kind of belt does black dynamite wear? Oh, it does not come to me.
But yeah, and actually one of the lines in the the first issue of Law of the Claw, the second time he faces the ginger Muslim, he actually refers to him as Copper Cav.
Is Copper Cav an actual bad guy? I don't know anything about him as a person.
He's a lol cow, a ginger lol cow on the internet. And
it's better to be a ginger fap cow.
What?
I said it's better to be a ginger fap cow.
But yeah, ginger Copper Cab went like full SJW tranny like a while back.
What?
Yeah. At first he was just fucking nuts. And, like a lot of these other locales, but then it's like he
becoming a tranny change that?
Not really. Not that much. But yeah, I decided to put that in there just, for my own amusement. But yeah, they will probably end up having to change that later because that will probably end up making it a bit dated. And not many people will probably get the reference.
I guess there is a question of how things are going to be dated, because one of the, like, if we really want to go for stories that don't have explicit political themes, you could take a look at Animal Farm for inspiration.
Animal Farm?
Yeah, and
You
it's
ever read Animal Farm?
I've heard the name, but I don't know what it is.
Yeah,
it's George. Go ahead.
George Orwell. Basically it's a fable metaphor for why communism doesn't work.
Oh, the George Orwell book. Okay, I thought you were talking about a video game for some reason. Oh, I'm thinking of Animal Crossing. God damn it.
Although they did make a good communist, what's his name?
Several people have.
Well, DiggyDemon.com made a good, awesome cartoon about how communism worked with Animal Crossing.
Yep.
Oh, it's beautiful.
It was hilarious. But let's keep on topic. Rayce?
Yeah.
You're supposed to slap us down when we say that kind of stuff?
Let's see. Let's talk about. I think we've talked enough about Law of the Claw for the moment. I don't have anything else to add. What suggestions do you have for Law of the Claw?
I got nothing, because I don't know. Even after setting all that, it doesn't give us any material, man. We have no material yet. Got nothing. We got no concept sketches. We got... Yeah, I have no thoughts.
I've sent you some of the scripts.
Yeah, and I started editing them, but that's just the scripts for the first few pages, man. Nothing's really fleshed out yet.
So basically, as far as setting is concerned, it's going to be like film noir, except with molten lava and magma in the building backgrounds.
Well, yeah, it's going to have that film noir kind of aesthetic. At least that's what I'm shooting for.
Yeah. I just, for fun, I made a background. Very loosely, like the cityscape with a fire, like a fiery mass in the background, as if the buildings were on fire itself.
Yeah.
Although that would be a unique. That would be like something cool to aesthetic to try to just people casually walking by while the buildings are on fire.
Oh, jeez. Now it's set in the modern day, in the modern cityscape, and actually one of the lesser antagonists, I should probably put this in now, is actually going to be a cop, who is basically your lawful good type of character, who's going to look like Davis Arini, because of course. And it's basically his plot line is going to be similar to, what's his name? Paul Schmecker from Boondock Saints. He's basically going to be on his tail for most of the time, only catching up to him near the end.
Oh, Boondock Saints. I was thinking Boondocks. I'm like, who? Okay.
Boondock Saints.
Because
Except this guy is not FBI and he's not gay.
He wasn't gay.
The FBI agent in Boondock Saints? Oh yeah, he was.
I thought he just wanted to dress up.
No, he literally had a scene where he gets called in the middle of the night and he's with.
Oh, and there's a man next to him. You're right. Yep.
Yeah, there's a fruity bottom, and he's like, "I just wanted to cuddle," and the FBI agent's like, "What a fag."
I remember. Yep. Right. You fucking fag.
He was delightful.
He was wonderful.
Oh, so in this universe, what are the cops in this world, like the official demons, or how's that work?
No, he's just a person. There's only one demon that's in it for most of the time, and that's going to be the Dark Father figure that actually that turns him into a hellhound, and that's Runaway, the demon, who's going to look like Bill Nighy. That's my vision for him. If you guys know who that is.
Science denier?
Say who?
Science denier?
I literally don't know what's that that's in reference to.
Bill Nye, the science denier.
No, not Bill Nye.
I know. You said Nighy. I know.
Jeez.
Thanks for fucking up my jokes. Talking about how I fuck up your jokes all the time, and there you go. Well, if you're gonna talk about people you want them to look like, bring up a picture. I know Bill Nighy is the Satanist guy. I know.
No, he's not.
Oh, that was a different guy you showed me then. Then I don't know. Just bring up a
Bill
picture.
Nighy
You can share screens.
has been in he was in I, Frankenstein, Underworld, Grand Budapest Motel or something.
He's
been a
the
lot
father of Underworld.
Yeah, he's Victor from Underworld.
Gotcha. Wait, the Shaggy guy or the Vampire King?
They're the Vampire King.
All right, gotcha.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah, he's never been a shithead. Yeah, he's a good actor. I should devote his name to memory. I only have a limited amount of space to reserve for that. Actors' names. I refuse to allocate more disk space to it.
Which is why every time we talk about movie stars and you bring up, I don't know, it's like, I don't care.
I don't know. Really? You don't want your penciler to know what you want the characters to look like? Really?
I tell you a name and then you just Google the name. It's that simple. You don't have to retain it. You just have to have it long enough to Google it.
Yep. That's true.
Let's see what's this here.
It looks like he's reading Alex Jones. It does look like Alex Jones.
No, not even close.
That looks like the White Buffalo. Come on.
No.
Not even close. Lord. Maybe if Alex Jones had AIDS, maybe.
Oh, the time-traveling sexcapator met him.
He actually looks like... who plays Commissioner Gordon in the Batman movies?
No, I'm talking about the book cover. The guy on the book cover looks like Alex Jones.
I don't see one.
Oh,
There's
it's
a face on the book cover.
Hold on. Luke, start talking.
It's a guy with a mustache. You can also click on my logo if you want to see just my M face.
I'm not talking about the actor.
Oh, the guy in the book cover. Okay, yeah, that does look like Alex Jones.
Motherfucker. I wasn't saying that he looked like Alex Jones. Oh my god.
I didn't even know that there was a face on the book until you guys brought it up.
I said it looks like he's reading Alex Jones. Killing my jokes, man. Killing him. You're a joke killer, you know that?
No, you're the fucking joke
I'm
killer.
gonna call the joke police and put you in prison.
Fuck, you do it to me more than I do it to you, son.
I do it on purpose, see? Not through incompetence. I do it because I think it's funny to kill jokes. Now, if you were killing my jokes on purpose, I'd be very happy, because you'd be learning from the master.
Master in the biggest fucking air quotes possible.
Uh-huh. He's trying. Give him some time, people. So, Eve, any comments you want to share with us?
Sure.
You not watching them this entire time?
Villain idea. Time-traveling sex tourist doesn't care that he's bringing future diseases into the past and present day.
Yeah, I read that one. Go to the next one.
Gold Rush era prospectors stumble upon advanced underground civilization of gopher people.
Lol.
Of gopher people?
Yep.
Lovely.
Does he mean literal gophers or just like, or is that figurative? Because if that were if he was being literal with the gopher people, that would sound amusing.
For some reason, there's a lot of videos online all of a sudden about gophers. Like this dude that can catch gophers with his bare hands. Like he picks them right out. He somehow knows where they are underground, just shoves his hand in the ground and snatches them up.
Yeesh.
That sounds like the episode of the opposite of Bill Murray from Caddyshack, where he can't catch a gopher to save his life.
Gophers are some weird-looking motherfuckers.
Look at them. Here they are.
Oh, I'm sorry. He was catching moles, not gophers.
Moles.
Gophers are fugly. Moles look cool. Was that all of them, Eve?
Yep.
So what was the premise of this one?
Of Law of the Claw?
No, the gophers.
The Russians dig underground and find an entire civilization of gopher people.
No, I think he said it was gold diggers, gold prospectors.
Oh. What was... There's a character in the Marvel Universe named Myth the Gopher, isn't there?
I don't know. That sounds like it'd be an interesting, like, old Western type of a story. Like, set in the age of Wyatt Earp. That would be fun. But yeah, the actual arch nemesis, the actual arch villain of the origin arc for Law of the Claw is actually going to be the head of a mosque. And yeah, the only reason, and he's actually helping he's actually giving the guys who kill his fiancée sanctuary in the mosque.
Of course he is. That's what mosques do.
Yeah. Because that's still a law, right? Like cops can't go into the churches.
That's what moderate Muslims do. They shelter the non-moderate Muslims and support them.
Yeah. And practice taqiyya.
And agree with everything that you get terrorists agree in. Agree with everything the terrorists do.
Yeah, one of the main differences is that they just aren't acting on this.
And dance on rooftops when terrorists blow up Twin Towers.
Ooh.
It's hilarious how they tried to delete all of the old articles that the news stations wrote when that happened. Like, no, we never said that happened. Yes, you did. No, we never said there were weapons of mass destruction. Yes, you did. We were just reporting that other people said, no, you reported that there were, in fact, weapons of mass destruction. You're lying.
Wayback Machine is your best friend. But yeah, if there was a Muslim Reformation to where it wasn't so batshit insane, then I'd be perfectly fine with it.
It's called Christianity.
Oh,
it's called Crusades. The word you're looking for is crusade.
No, it's not.
Oh yeah, I could go to a deep theological discussion of how that.
We're not going to. No. Not on this channel. If you want to do that on my personal channel, that'd be a whole other thing. But we're not on my channel. But anyway, yeah, I think I want to discuss more about one of the other comics that I'm doing, other than Law of the Clock. And that's the one called Eavesdrop. Richard knows a little bit about this one. Or not Silka Rance knows about this one. Sorry.
Uh-huh.
And that's the elderly man who has the power to read minds, but only if he turns off his hearing aid.
So after he lost his hearing that he found out he had the power.
Yeah, when he was a child, he was stricken with a disease that limits his hearing, basically near death, about 5%.
Now that he has ED, now he knows when women want him.
Yeah, he develops this power fairly early on in life, a couple of years after he goes deaf.
Oh, how old was he when he went deaf?
About 11, 12.
Oh, he was getting plenty of poon.
Oh yeah.
You know he abused the shit out of it as a kid.
Oh, of course.
I think it would be great if a lot of the villains were just people that he abused his power on.
Oh, jeez. Oh, yeah. It never occurs to him to actually be like a superhero or anything. Usually, he mainly used it for business all those years. It wasn't actually until his granddaughter, who was going to be a sidekick, actually got raped that he decides to take on the crusade. He started using his powers to basically track down the motherfucker who did that to his granddaughter.
Mm-hmm.
And then, and because of the rape, she actually gets super strength. So,
wait, what?
there's a silver lining there.
What was she raped by?
Some guy, I think.
Okay.
So far, right now, it's just some guy.
Some guy with radioactive semen.
Well, no, she has the same genetics as him, and he.
As the guy who raped her? Interesting.
No, the grandfather had passed on the genes to her, through, because that's how bloodlines work. And naturally she has the the potential to be for power inside her. She just never had the need to compensate for anything, because that's why how he got his power, overcompensation for the loss of hearing, which is why once he can hear, once he gets a hearing aid, he loses his powers because he doesn't need the mind reading anymore.
So her super strength comes from overcompensation for her hymen.
Overcompensation for being overpowered by another man. And so that basically it's overcompensation, so that way she never gets taken advantage of like that again.
I got another thing.
What's that?
Another comment.
Go for it.
Man in dystopian nightmare takes inspiration from comic book villains, but given despotic nature of the world, he is mistaken for a freedom fighter.
Could you read that again?
I didn't catch a word of that.
Man in dystopian nightmare takes inspiration from comic book villains, but given despotic nature of the world, he is mistaken for a freedom fighter.
Oh, okay. So it's kind of the villain is the protagonist, and he's actually basically his plot is world domination, but he's mistaken for for being a superhero basically.
Because he's too hammy about it, I guess.
How would that work out then? Would it just be he keeps failing in his mission, or he's failing in his attempt to conquer the Earth?
He keeps just getting goodies, I guess. Like he gets love and affection.
Because I guess in the eyes of some people, he's trying to attack the right people, which is usually how that works.
Was Joker the hero of The Dark Knight Rises? That type of situation. Oh, you're right, The Dark Knight. Was Joker the hero of The Dark Knight? That theory. Well, he killed all the bad guys.
As far as I know, he didn't.
Name a bad guy the Joker didn't kill or get killed in The Dark Knight.
As far as I know, he wasn't killing any villains.
He killed the black mob leader and his guys, one of whom with a pencil. He killed the cigar smoking guy with the dogs.
He also killed the commissioner. He also killed the judge.
And I know, continuing on, he also destroyed half of the entire mafia's wealth.
Yeah.
Like half of all of their money.
And he nearly killed Harvey Dent on 2 occasions.
And he also culled out all of the bad cops, too. And the bad judge. And the bad commissioner.
They were not bad.
They sucked at their job. They were in the pocket of the mafia. You know this.
Bad, not morally bad.
No.
We're never given any indication that they were bad guys.
No, the commissioner and the judge were not bad. There's no indication they were on the take. They were killed because the Joker was hired by the mob to kill them.
Fair enough. But by virtue of the fact that they've completely failed at their jobs, incompetence should be punished. I have a feeling
you're talking about something else entirely.
Yeah.
We're not talking about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, he tends to do that.
So, let's see. We got our potential protagonist, our Irini cop, and woman with a moss statue, and our potential nightly character.
And a girl who gets really bad PMS.
Yeah,
but only for 1 day of the month instead of 7.
No, it's a whole week.
Okay.
It peaks at the full moon, and then it taper, and there's a build up and taper down before that.
Do their cycles actually start to match the moon cycles? Because that's fucking hilarious.
It's literally an allegory for PMS. So, and then the collar might as well be an allegory for Midol.
Well, if it's going to be an allegory for PMS, it should also be an allegory for the rest of the reproductive cycle as well. What happens on the new moon? So on and so forth. Half moon.
We'll come to that bridge when we get to it.
Yeah.
Because again, that's going to be really far off in the future. We're probably not going to start writing that for another year or two. because the origin cycle is going to last 8 issues at least, and then there's going to be another thing after that, which I'm not going to go into detail because that would be too spoilerific. And then it's probably going to be the one right after that. Is the one we're going to be able to. We're going to really dig into the Hell Bitch, the Hell Bitch arc.
Double O Bookie says, regular guys work themselves to the bone at a retirement home for superheroes and villains. They protect the patients from retaliation and from themselves.
Oh, so it's like an old folks' home for superheroes
and supervillains. Like they're all so old that they can't do shit anymore.
Now that sounds interesting. I think
I've seen something like that before.
This reminds me of Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy.
That might have been... No, that's not what I was thinking of. So, I was thinking of I think somebody's done something like that, just not a series.
That would be interesting. Yeah, it'd probably only be able to last so long, so it'd probably be more like a mini-series. Something we could do for maybe a year. But yeah, that sounds brilliant. Because yeah, a lot of you never see any of these superheroes when they're past their prime, when they're retired, unless it's to just bring them out of retirement again.
Although the comment is about like the people who actually take care of them in their older states, like they're the heroes.
Yeah. So you would think that they would have to be not only trained as nurses and whatever, but they also have to be trained in martial arts and things like that. They basically have to be superheroes in their own right, to be able to protect the dying superheroes.
Yeah, it'd also be a good chance to see. I guess one of those sour parts is when we see these heroes, like one of them suffering from Alzheimer's or dementia. It's like, okay, sir, we have to follow him this way, and it's like, does this guy used to be a hero?
Yeah,
it gets hard to believe at certain points.
We could also have what are those nurses called? The Angels of Death.
Oh.
That's exactly what they're called, yes. But they usually just kill babies. Like hundreds of babies. Greatest serial killers of all times, or Angels of Death.
What's her name? Jane Topin. I think it's Topin. She was an Angel of Death.
Jane Topin kill count. Let's see.
Yeah, I think she was on a documentary right alongside H.H. Holmes that I watched for...
confessed to 31 murders. That's baby talk. There was a Japanese one that killed at least 300. During World War II, I think? And there were worse ones than her.
Yeah, that would be interesting thing to have in the comic as well. To have just an episode or two devoted to that. Or a comic or two devoted to that.
Oh, here she is. 6 notorious female serial killers. Annie Noss, the Giggling Nanny. Giggling Nanny.
But I think that would be interesting.
The Blood Countess is number 8. Amelia Dyer. The Reading Baby Farmer. She was hanged for only one murder. Claims state that many other victims died by her hand. No number given. Jane Topin. She had 31 murders. Here she is. Mayuki Ishikawa. 103 children. My mistake. As she saw it, the children of poor people had no chance in this world. She was simply putting them out of their future misery.
Superhero euthanasia.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of different ways we can go with that. With just the concept of the superhero old folks home. Let's do that.
What?
The superhero old folks home comic.
Then write out a script and tell us later.
All right. It's probably going to be a while because right now I'm focused on Law of the Claw.
Uh-huh.
Getting that one done. But yeah, I'll start scribbling down notes here and there. That way when I actually start working on it, I have something to go on. And okay, Ward. Let's talk about Ward.
I'm still partial to the Warden, but you're worried about copyright claims.
Yeah, because Marvel already has 2 characters. One is called the Warden, the other one's just Warden. So I had to shorten it further to Ward, which is basically the name of his power.
Well, I had one idea for it, but it's more of an aesthetic choice.
What's that?
I like the idea that instead of being able to create invisible barriers telepathically, it has to be between links. So, for example, he could get a chain link fence, and all of the barriers only form between the chain links. Or if he could get one of those bar fences, it would form between the bars. That's his barrier. Or he could do it between his limbs, like that kind of thing. But it has to be like a closed area for him to do it. That's just what I'm thinking, because the original idea was for him to be something like a shielder of some kind.
Yeah, the Barrier Warrior power set, I think is what it's called.
And eventually he just starts experimenting with shit to see which creates the most interesting effects. And so he's like carrying an arsenal of like chain links, of fishing nets, and stuff like that he can cast barriers onto. It could be interesting.
Yeah. We'll have to do something. Let's talk about that right now. What in particular were you talking about as far as the chain link fence stuff? Because I'm kind of confused on that.
Okay, here we go. Google search. Sharing now. Go on and click on my image. So, for example, if you were carrying around the metal of that black fence there, like the barrier would form between the bars, that type of thing. Or if he was carrying around something like this, it would form between those squares. Like, that's the only way he could do it. Or he could do it between his fingers, or between his arms, for really close range. And so for like a chain link fence,
that would make sense, but I mean, carrying all that stuff would be impractical.
Well, there's that kind of stuff all over the place. In addition, like he'd probably carry around like
so you mean using the environments?
Yes. So with the chain link, it would form between the chain links. You could probably have something like a fishing net made of metal wire that he could carry that's really light and does the same effect. That kind of thing. I just like the idea of a really odd but interesting restriction that makes him have to use his powers in a creative way.
Yeah, a lot of the restrictions are actually going to be manipulated by a lot of the villains. Like, yeah, the barrier is impenetrable, but you can still get around them.
Yeah, you can get around it, and you can destroy the material that's creating the barrier.
Yeah, like one of the ways to get around it is to be invisible, because it's hard to block what you can't see.
Right.
And part of the thing is to figure out how we can take down this invisible person, how we can use his power to, or at the very least, it's an interesting puzzle that he'll have to solve.
So in the first issue, when he first discovers his powers, he discovers it when he's almost creamed by a 16-wheeler, right?
No, when he first uses it, he's getting beat up by some bullies.
No.
And then, but yeah, eventually he's going to start experimenting with it, and yeah, he stands in front of a 16-wheeler, and
I'm guessing the barrier forms between the grates on the front of the.
Well, I'm thinking that it forms a spherical barrier, like basically a bubble, protective bubble. But the semi is coming right at him so fast that it still knocks him on his ass.
Okay, so much for my idea then.
No, it's still an interesting thing that we could use, but because that would require a bit less energy to do than to form an entire barrier.
Oh, he can form barriers at will. It just takes up too much concentration and energy.
Yeah, it takes a lot. Yeah, because you would think using that type of power would burn calories some. That's something that never gets really addressed in superhero comics. These superhero feats would use a superhuman amount of energy, and energy is calories. So a lot of these super strength people, you would think would be emaciated, because it requires so many calories to do that kind of stuff.
Unless they have some sort of different chemistry, of course.
Yeah.
Which I guess is the way you get around with Superman.
A lot of the superheroes, even the X-Men, don't get the energy from biochemical reaction processes in the body. Even some of the mutants in X-Men, like one gets their power from the magma in the Earth. I remember that in X-Men Evolution.
But yeah, he gets hit by a semi, but it doesn't just stop the semi. It knocks him on his ass like 20 feet back or ever. Because just because you have a spherical barrier all around you, but doesn't mean that your feet are firmly like cemented in the ground. You'd basically be turned into a soccer ball. Like if the Hulk were to kick you with that kind of spherical thing, he would launch you across a mile in the air. So you
played The Lost Frontier?
No, I have not.
In that, Jack gets a spherical blue eco barrier, and it kind of works like that because it's a complete sphere. He can't move well when he's in it, and it's actually really a real pain in the ass to use.
Yeah, I imagine it's going to be something like that. It's a spherical barrier that can form around you, but yeah, you basically can't move. You can still be moved.
Well, he could like roll in it, which was kind of dumb.
But yeah, the whole being moved thing only really is a problem if you're up against something that has enough strength or just enough momentum coming at you that you really can't stop it at all. Like you could stop a bullet with the shield because it's fairly light and it's easy to just ricochet off of anything in the first place. So yeah, you could deflect that, but I mean, yeah, if the Hulk were to kick you, you'd go flying.
Double O Boogie says Furfag with a really good costume realizes it's too late when he's inducted into a secret society of werewolves. He has to fake it until he can figure out a way to escape or defeat them.
Could you read that from the beginning?
A furry gets inducted into a werewolf society because they think he's an actual werewolf. Because he got a really good costume.
That's absolutely hilarious.
Wasn't there an anime similar to that about a kid who's he's a human kid who finds himself going to a monster school and a place where monsters can be normal and they basically hate humans, and so he has to fake his way as being a monster.
That's an anime. It's called
Monster Musume.
No. It's the one with the pink-haired vampire chick. I know which one you're talking about.
Rosario Vampire.
Rosario plus vampire.
Oh yeah, that's in. So he agrees to be her food supply for the breakfast.
Yep. And she's a huge cock tease, and she has multiple personality disorder. And he naturally gets all of the monster girls lusting after him: the succubus, the Yoka Onna, the.
Also, it's a harem. It's a harem anime.
Yes, it's a shitty harem anime. I mean, I'd like the premise if it wasn't a harem anime. I think the only other male character in it is this pathetic werewolf guy. Was there also an Arachna? No. Who was
the poor pup can't get any bitches.
Mm-hmm.
What a shame. But yeah, a lot of the early heroes, a lot of the early supervillains that Ward is going to have to face are basically people who are able to get around his power, and so he's got to figure out an inventive way to take him down.
Is it going to be like every other episode is a new weakness that he has to work with?
Yeah, basically, like in the origin arc, I think I discussed with you that the first supervillain is actually just a dude who blackmails him because he's got footage of him using his power.
Mm.
And so yeah, you can't really block that kind of thing because it's not a physical attack that you can block. You have to actually have the brains to work your way around it.
Does your dog bite? No, but he can hurt you in other ways.
Uh-huh.
Am I still sharing screen?
Yeah, I'm just not on you. Oh, yeah, I took it off you because you're not really showing anything.
I'm just getting used to my tablet or this new software I'm using by just drawing squares, triangles, and circles, like thousands of them, over and over and over again. Oh, tedium.
Yeah, he's gonna eat. I think we talked about this too, but yeah, he's gonna be in high school, but not for long.
Mm-hmm. Like he's a senior?
No, I mean no, he's more like a sophomore. But again,
he says, "Fuck this shit! Fuck this shit! I'll be a stripper."
No, he's like, "Fuck this shit! I'm gonna be a superhero." Because
yeah, that's what I meant. That was the joke.
Yeah, but yeah, the whole thing is like you can't, like we've talked about this. You can't really do the whole being both superhero and a high school kid because you get fucked. You get a visit from the truancy officer at some point. You brought this up. You brought this to my attention a while back.
No, this is Chris's stuff. That is actually one of Chris's. He's repeated that sentiment several times.
Yeah, and eventually, yeah. He. So that's why we added in that eventually he's going to drop out of school to devote.
Well, the reality of it is that first of all, he'd simply pass out of exhaustion at some point. Oh, he's got Rosario plus vampire up. I could have sworn there was a fifth girl, long black-haired one.
Oh yeah, there is one here. I couldn't tell if it was big enough.
I guess she's not a main one.
And yeah, eventually he's gonna make the choice between staying in school and doing what his parents expect him to do, or being a superhero and enduring the shame. And he chooses the hard path and enduring the shame.
Is he middle class?
What?
Is he well-to-do or is he poor?
We have working class. Not exactly poor, but it's.
What does his parents do for a living?
Uncle Ben died. Aunt May, on the other hand, is... What does Aunt May do? I think she just has a cooking book.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't think.
No, that's.
I mean, that'll be good. It's just good to reference to figure out how important education is for him.
Maybe he just. Good point. Well, to be fair, he'd probably just go with his superpowers. And if there were superheroes in real life, people would try to give you money. Like, just here, take this. If they saw you after stopping a heist,
probably, or turn them in for the reward, because that's what people do. You find somebody and you leave them a hot tip, you get a reward.
Here, take these totally unmarked bills. Thank you for saving my life. But to be fair, probably what would happen is I'm going to say, I think we discussed this. The bullies from the beginning know his secret. He eventually has to win their friendship, and I'm guessing they'd probably be willing to.
Say again?
The bullies what?
Oh, the bullies. Okay.
The bullies probably drop out with him and say, "Holy shit, this guy's a superhero, but he's got to eat. You know what, man? I'm gonna work at McDonald's. He's gonna work down at the construction lot down there. We're gonna be on different ships, so we can always be on the phone and computer with you at all times. Help any way we can." You get to eat and sleep for free, man.
That'd be interesting. You'd have to
work
up.
By doing this, we're heroes too.
So basically, like his merry band of heroes or whatever.
Yeah.
His merry men to his Robin Hood.
Little John. Because he has a little John. Why is he called Little John? Because he has a little John. That's the actual story, by the way. Little John has a tiny pecker.
Oh, jeez.
Why is he called Little John? Because he has a little John. Oh, that always tickled me.
For some reason, I don't think that the rapper knows that.
No, he's Little John. Like Lil Wayne.
Yeah.
Not Little Wang, Little Wayne. W-A-Y-N-E, not W-A-N-G.
Isn't that basically what the Little John the rapper gets his name from? Little John the character?
Probably not. Pretty sure his name's John. And there were other people with Lil in front of their names as rappers back then.
Yeah.
I don't think he was the first one to do that. Maybe if he's a fan of, to be fair, Lil Jon is a cool guy, despite having a Little John.
Huh.
Was he the one with that used a bow staff type deal? I think he was. Just clubbed you to death with a staff.
And yeah, the only other idea that I've been mulling around in my head is STEM. That's the tentative title of it, which is basically a guy who works as an electrician and then one day gets electrocuted, and then
he's Electro. We got it.
Yeah. And yeah, you can send all that electricity into his muscles and simulate super strength.
Among other things.
Yeah. Where he could run faster and jump higher and all that good stuff.
So it's kind of like a Daredevil kind of effect where he has he has the ability to make his senses more accurate, more powerful.
Yeah, the main thing that it starts off with is that he can absorb electricity, and then he can send that electrical energy into his muscles, because that's what that's what your whole nervous system is anyway. It's just one big electrical circuit. And so he's able to, with the stored up electricity, he can actually push his muscles harder, make him do extraordinary things. But he does have a limit to how hard he can push himself. He has this sort of preventative healing factor that prevents him from snapping his shit up.
Not STEM. S-T-I-M.
Yeah, STEM, as in stimulant. Or a muscle stimulator.
So what's his antagonist?
The guys that gave him his powers, obviously. It's his future self.
Industrial sabotage. He was getting killed. Somebody tried to kill him with that electrocution thing.
There's this thing called a Rayce sphere. And what this Rayce, I'm kidding. And what this Rayce sphere does.
With this medallion, you can use the Illuminati reptile magic to make your dick bigger.
Oh, I'll get that over to Lil Jon.
But yeah, at first it's mainly just for muscles, to enhance muscles. But eventually, he does actually shoot lightning and all that kind of stuff you'd expect. But at first, yeah, just enhance strength. And he has to recharge himself every so often because he's basically a walking rechargeable battery. Not too dissimilar from Dr. Doom, although minus the magic.
Who's to say his powers aren't magical in nature?
True.
The correct answer there was me. Me. I'm the one who says it's not magical.
Chef, whatever. I haven't. The only two heroes that I've really decided on the origin of the powers would be Ward and the Hellhound from Law of the Claw, because in Hellhound it's based, or in the Law of the Claw it's spelled out for you. It's a demon contract, but with Ward you eventually come to learn it's fairy magic.
Oops.
I'm not going to go into more detail than that because that leads to spoilers.
How old is the STEM character?
About mid to late 20s, because he's an electrician. He's working as an electrician for at this point.
Yeah, you can't be a kid doing that.
Yeah,
unfortunately.
But yeah, that would probably be a good origin arc. That he eventually he finds out that the accident at that game of his powers was actually somebody trying to kill him.
Double O Boogie says,
God damn it, Boogie. You got a lot to say, don't you? Go ahead, Eve. Eve? Hello, Eve? Are you okay?
I'm fine.
All right.
An orc on the losing side of war gets blasted by magic and ends up on modern Earth. He gets work as bodyguard and for various a-hole VIPs while trying to find his way back home.
He doesn't get put into porn immediately?
The fucking World of Warcraft porn. Oh god.
Mm-hmm.
Warcraft porn. What?
Shit's cringy.
Yeah.
I don't know what's up with the guys with the horns, the bull-looking dudes. I don't know if they're minotaurs or what, but for some reason, World of Warcraft guys really like them.
Oh, the
World
horns.
of Warcraft.
Horns near the mouth, the tusks.
I don't know. They're some kind of furry race that's in World of Warcraft.
And
all of the porn is about them, and all of the porn is about he/she's.
Are they like centaurs?
Do they have 4 legs or 2?
2. Just look up World of Warcraft races.
Okay, if it's got 2 legs, then it's not a centaur.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, what's the word?
Like really? I would have thought you would have gone with the specialized elf races, the blood elves here and the dark elves, but no, you're going with these furry fucking things. Okay. And why do the dark elves ladies have dicks? Deviants. Y'all should go watch Mr. Medicare. I don't think he's talked about the World of Warcraft fan base.
Oh, of course he doesn't.
I'm not talking about people that play World of Warcraft. I'm talking about the guys that make fan art of World of Warcraft.
Odds are those guys don't actually play World of Warcraft. I mean, all the guys who make My Little Pony porn definitely watch My Little Pony, yeah. But I don't think the people who play World of Warcraft are too keen on making World of Warcraft porn. But yeah, so far that's what I have so far. As far as my main series, other than as far as superhero stuff goes. The only other thing is basically the Married with Children comic, which is basically exactly how it sounds. Obviously not going to have the name of Married with Children because copyright, but it's going to be the same similar premise. And I wish I knew more about Tidal Wave's comic that he wants to write. But yeah, he's only sent me bits and pieces, and he's only sent me like character profiles, but he doesn't have much in the way of a story yet. And I wish he was able to make it onto the stream. Too many technical difficulties got in the way of that. Maybe during the next one. What about you guys? What sort of things would you want to see in comic books that you're not seeing from SJW Marvel?
I just want non-superhero stories. That's it.
Yeah. Well, the Married with Children one and the Law of the Claw one, those are not superhero.
Mm-hmm.
Law of the Claw is more. It's as much of a superhero comic as John Constantine.
Well, I want comics that go the way that manga goes. Not in the shonen and the fan service and that shit. I'm talking about cyberpunks, biopunk, self-contained stories.
And
well, holy shit! Did I get on here?
Yeah,
you got on here.
Yes, just
holy
in time.
Fuck!
What? It kind of looks like Mike Cernovich.
Oh, don't give me that. I'm far more honorable.
Mike Shukovich. Tell us a little bit more about the project you want to work on, the story you're writing. I've already told them all of my shit.
We talking about me?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh shit! I haven't even really started on a story. I'm still working on the characters.
Well, tell us a little bit more about them, because I only remember so much of it off the top of my head.
Okay, well, basically they're like the Fantastic Four. But
sold. 1,000,000 copies. You're rich now.
Well,
well, maybe not if you got the premise of how they all came together. And basically, they're supposed to be two mixed couples. And they both, all four of them are kind of like friends or frenemies since high school.
okay.
They're basically just there to, I don't know, try to pick at some of the other things that don't get talked about. Like,
Do all their kids have really fucked up birth defects? Like a
no,
lot
they're
of mixed kids do?
interracial, not inbred.
No, interracial intermixing between races causes a lot of genetic problems. Sickle cell anemia is much more common between mixed kids than straight black kids, believe it or not. Among other problems. There's also the problem of not being able to get donors. Like, if you ever have kidney problems, you won't be able to find a kidney donor who's mixed. That's a big problem that people have. Same with blood donations. It can cause some problems.
Oh, I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah. Also, I forgot what it's called. It's where scar tissue forms like a bubble when you get cut. Like that's more common among mixed kids. It's where the scar tissue isn't like smooth. It's like this really rough scar tissue whenever you get an injury.
Holy hell, dude.
Yeah, that's more common amongst mixed kids.
Well, to be fair, everyone in America is already mixed.
Well, I mean,
In the
yeah,
white
come on.
They're,
You know what I mean. And here's the thing. If I ever meet a really nice black girl that I want to marry, I'm marrying her. But I'm going to think real long and hard if I want to have biological kids with them. I'm going to get a lot of blood testing done before I do so, or decide if I have to adopt or not. Because I'm responsible. Black, white, Hispanic, doesn't matter. Well, first of all, you should get genetic testing done with your wife before you have kids, regardless, no matter what. It's like $500 altogether.
get genetic testing, period.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good to find out what you got.
Also, get your bores punched, gentlemen.
Say again?
Get your bores punched.
What the fuck does that mean?
Yeah, seriously.
STD testing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
When you're cleaning out a rifle, when you shove the stick down the barrel, it's called bore punching. And
Okay.
so the analogy here is some SD test requires a bit of a swab down there.
Yeah.
Get your bores punched, gentlemen.
I'm going to keep that one in mind.
Anyway, continue.
No, I know. Just the gist of the reason why these characters are like together as interracial couples is because there's going to be like two white guys, and then there's going to be two non-white women. And the whole thing is basically one of the women's going to be
reality.
True, true. But no, like the gist is like the Asian girl. Her kind of story is I don't know if you guys ever hear about it. I don't remember what the name of the phenomenon is, but basically Asians wind up really, really hating their own culture, and they like absolutely worship European culture.
It's called getting addicted to white dick.
Well,
No, there's seriously a psychological condition for that, or name for it, I should say.
Well, think about it this way. How much would you have to hate your own country to want to leave it? Like there are many young ladies and gentlemen that really want out of these countries. They hate everything about it. And you're only ever going to meet,
China, North Korea.
You're only ever going to meet two types of Chinese girls. Ones who are like super nationalistic, like Mongolia. That's not a country. I've had that conversation, and the ones that just hate China. Mongolia. That's not a country.
It's more like a backwater.
No, that's a territory. No, it's not. It is.
Ooh, Canada has a lot of those backwater territories.
Okay, yeah, you're right.
We don't want them, but they're just there.
There's the big one. I can't remember the name of it. It starts with an N, and it's pretty much all wilderness.
The Yukon?
No, it's...
That's why.
Yeah.
Northwest Territories.
Canada sections.
Oh, none of it. None of it. Sorry.
Yeah, Nunavut.
Yeah.
Nunavut is like
basically where all
nothing but wilderness. Northwest Territories.
If my memory serves, none of it was actually made for like the Canadian natives to go to.
Yes.
If they so chose.
Exactly right. Yep. Yeah. Northwest Territories. N. Oh, you mean the Northwest Territory? No, it's a name that you won't remember. Nunavut.
They were at one point just the Northwest Territories, both of them, but I guess Canada decided it was too big.
But anyway, go on with your stuff. Tell us more about your characters.
Oh,
They're
yeah, so
biracial.
basically...
What more do you want?
Well, yeah, but it's also their powers that I've been thinking really, really long and hard about. So the one girl who I call Brimstone, she's all fire-based, right? And then there's the one guy, and it's his name's Surge, and he's all electrical. Then you have Mantle, the other guy, and he's all like earth and metal. And then you have Torrent, who is the other girl, and all she does is like ice and water, right?
Okay.
Now here's the gist. Torrent and Mantle are a couple, and Brimstone and Surge are a couple. Well, Mantle, because he's like all stone and metal. Brimstone's kind of his like counter, because she can just superheat him and melt him out of existence. Meanwhile, Torrent can like just douse Brimstone. She can't do anything, right? And then Surge can electrocute Torrent because she's like water, super conductive. And so they kind of like, they have to work together, but they're also the only counters to each other.
Mutually assured destruction if anybody goes south.
This is what I got.
Exactly.
Did they get together because they were the only people in the immediate era who all had superpowers? One of the guys was like, "Hey, I don't mind the dark roast beef," and the other guy was like, "I don't mind the yellow one." Is that how they got together?
Well, yeah. Basically, the gist is that and I was thinking about how they would get their powers, and I was thinking just government goes in. The government goes in and gives these kids like these chemical tests, but they disguise it as inoculations.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's how they get these powers. It was a test.
Are we going to say that every kid that got this got the powers, or most just died?
Most just died, or didn't affect them.
Okay, and these were the only 4 that got the superpowers in that group, and they're like, "Hey, we got a gender ratio here. Let's go with it."
In the immediate story, I haven't figured out how far I wanted to go with it.
Which I'm going to be helping him flesh that out a little bit.
I think I have a little resource for you. It's a manga it doesn't have superpowers in that sense, but the way the guy was created is similar. It's called Zetman, Zetman. It is not for children. I'll put that there.
There is no manga that's for children.
No, there's manga for children. Like the Manga Guides 2 series, which I adore. The Manga Guide to Physics, the Manga Guide to Relativity, the Manga Guide to Electricity.
Yeah, but the Japanese actually treat their children like they're functioning adults sometimes.
Don't know how it got disconnected there. There's also one for physiology, but I can't find a copy of it anywhere. Digital or otherwise. I love educational kid stuff.
Nice. But no, and so like I'm kind of working on those ones. But I did have another brainstorm character the other day.
Oh, I'm sorry. The one another one that would be good for you, Charlotte. It's a manga and an anime. Charlotte, like the comet, CHARLOTTE.
Okay.
Read that, because especially the final arc.
Okay, synopsis.
The comet passed the Earth and gave a bunch of kids superpowers.
Seems simple
I
enough.
like it. Short and simple, yeah. No kidding, eh?
Yeah, because anime.
And it only gives people going through puberty the powers. They lose them as they age, of course. But there's also a time travel element because one of the characters has the butterfly effect power. And
You have to explain that one to me.
you ever seen Ashton Kutcher's butterfly effect? He can go back in time in his own body. So he goes back to his body when he was 10 years old.
Yeah, and whatever he does, it ends up, if he does something different than how he lived his childhood, it changes the past, and therefore he wakes up in a different timeline.
Yeah, it's still that, except that he gets to stay in the past and relive everything from then on. I won't spoil anything for you, but that happens later. The main character appears to have the ability to swap bodies with people for a few seconds at a time. That appears to be his power. That's not actually his power. That's just how he started using it. And he eventually became like this super douchebag, like Kira type character. And then other people's superpowers came in and humbled him right quick. And then kidnapped him and brought him over to a school for all the kids that they were collecting with the superpowers to protect them from the government. Because time travel, we know exactly what the future holds if you don't do this.
Oh, okay. That's actually not bad. Sounds a little bit like Days of Future Past.
Yes,
Yeah.
except good. And funny.
I actually enjoyed Days of Future Past.
That was a good movie.
It was,
Yeah, so did I.
It was a
I
good movie by Hollywood standards. Absolutely, sure. I'll give you that.
It was a good comic book
Standards
art.
that you using, jackass.
I'm saying it's really funny. One of the characters, like every single superpower seems to have like this huge drawback. Like one character can like leap great distances, or he has something. It's either super strength, but only in his legs, so he can jump really far. But he always crashes into shit, and he's not tough enough to handle it.
Lol.
Other character has invisibility, but it's kind of like Xavier's invisibility. She's invisible to the person she's looking at, but not to anybody else.
That's actually a
And
good
that's
thing, though.
actually her right there. That's the girl on the cover of the Charlotte that he's showing.
Oh, okay. Oh, there's artistic, Layman.
Hello.
What's going on, Luke?
Not much.
But in the final arc, we get to see one of the past timelines.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you want to share with us?
Oh yeah. There was the other character. Just I was kind of thinking if I were getting this off the ground, like every comic book company has their own pantheon that they use in their comics, right?
As you
Or
mean
at
like
least their superhero comics.
as you mean like Norse mythology for like Thor and Asgard and
Yeah. Like Marvel uses Thor and DC uses the Olympians. Valiant sort of kind of touches on Eastern European. And I was thinking nobody ever touches on the Celtic stuff, and there's one Celtic god who I thought would be really interesting as a character. His name's Nuada.
That sounds interesting.
And
Yeah, the only
he's based.
rarely anybody in the superhero related stuff uses Celtic. The only thing I know of would be like Mystic Knights of Tyrannog, and that only did okay.
I was strangely addicted to that show as a kid.
Say again?
I was strangely addicted to that show as a kid.
Oh yeah, it was. I like the medieval stuff too. But yeah, I was about to say as far as which mythologies to use, as far as Celtic. You said Celtic. I think it would be interesting to see more of like the Mesoamerican mythology, like Incan, Aztec, Mayan, that kind of thing.
They are incredibly uninteresting.
What?
Those mythologies are unbelievably uninteresting.
To you, yeah, yes, but they are. They have a lot of interesting artwork, a lot of interesting deities.
Oh, stylistically, sure, I guess you could like it. I'm talking about the actual mythologies themselves.
Yeah,
they're made by people who never invented the wheel, okay? That's the kind of mythology you're working with here.
They could invent a round clock, but not a round wheel.
They didn't have metallurgy.
They changed stuff to when they adapted Thor. We could take some creative liberties too.
Well, and one of the things with Nuada too is that in the mythology, he actually loses an arm and has it replaced with like a silver arm, which people generally draw as a semi-organic substance.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like
Which I thought was pretty interesting.
kind of like Wormtail after he resurrects Voldemort.
Yep, my thoughts went there too.
Yeah.
Well, friggin' the author of Harry Potter never had an original idea in her entire life or her entire bones.
She really is a hack, so that got lucky. She's the Gene Roddenberry.
She's not a good writer. She was kind of creative, and she got really lucky. Most of it's down to her luck, not to her writing, and not necessarily down to her creativity. She was pretty creative. I'll give her that. Some of her ideas were fun. She just wasn't a very good writer or good at continuity.
Yeah.
Well, keeping in mind, at the same time those stupid movies were coming out, you had something better like Lord of the Rings coming out at the same time.
Yeah.
Lord of the Rings was at least 10 times better than any of the Harry Potter movies. And Harry Potter movies were great near the end of the series. Superb. First kind of
what?
The Harry Potter movies near the end.
They were better at the final end. Okay.
They were better near the end of the series, the film series.
Okay, sure. I disagree. Like incredibly, like I think 5, 6, and 7 were duller than. They were so dull that. Hang on a second. I got this joke.
They were so dull they don't even warrant a joke.
Aaron Ralston thought they'd make a good knife. Aaron Ralston was the guy that cut off his own hand because the boulder fell on it, and he did it with a dull knife.
Oh.
That he thought they'd make really sharp knives. That's how dull the later Harry Potter movies are.
Dude, serious?
No, the Deathly Hallows movies were fantastic. The two beforehand, yeah, those were pretty rough. And then the Goblet of Fire was pretty solid. The early movies,
I think Goblet of Fire was when it started getting boring. Like, Goblet of Fire is the best book. Movie's kind of meh.
If you go with a Celtic style, you have a lot of fun creativity with their art styles.
Mm-hmm.
Like the interwoven lines like we see here.
Oh yeah, they have a lot of beautiful artwork.
Oh yeah, well, a little fun fact with their artwork is they took it all from the trees and whatnot around them because their trees were really weird over on the islands.
Yeah, yeah, a lot of
all of that moisture.
A lot of the northern
European
peoples generally had pretty good artwork.
Generally. Let me see. Leonardo da Vinci? No, he's not from anywhere other than Europe. I'm trying to find here in the top of my head any painter ever that didn't come from Europe that was worth a damn. I'm coming up short,
the Japanese
guys.
had some pretty good artwork.
Well, you're not
interesting artwork. It wasn't. They don't have depth, or it's all 2D. All of the artwork there is 2D in the old days before European advancement. They didn't have perspective. They didn't have. The figure fundamentals. They didn't have anything.
There's a lot of jokes in there that could have been cracked, just not doing it.
Yeah, they couldn't do any of the. It's pretty, sure, in the same way that that cave paintings are pretty.
I wouldn't go that far.
Yeah, the cave paintings are basically just crayon drawings.
Cave paintings were being done by people who were still painting with the shit from their ass.
Mm-hmm.
No. Don't make that comparison, asshole.
I'm the Nihongo file here, and I'm telling you the Japanese paintings weren't anywhere near as advanced as European paintings.
We're not talking about advanced. It's art. It's supposed to look good. It's the visual art.
And I'm saying that art is also a skill. And if you don't master the skills of perspective, of proportions, of depth, then your art isn't good. It can still be enjoyable in the same way that children's cartoons are enjoyable, but they aren't art. And I'm not going to say that it's not stylish and pretty, but it's not as advanced it's not as great as Michelangelo. You look at Michelangelo's paintings, and you can see every divot and dimple in the woman's ass. All right,
Well, no, that's not the argument
Yeah,
there.
but
I'm just
not
saying
as
that the
advanced.
Japanese were good artists and still are good artists. Whether or not they're as advanced as the Europeans are, that's no discussion.
Well, I'm talking about before the whole world congregated and we can use each other's art. Before coming in contact with China, Europe had good art. Before coming in contact with Europe, China did not have good art. Not as good as European art.
Mm-hmm.
But they had good art. It just wasn't, again, may not be as good, but it was still good.
I'm not talking about good, but hero. I'm talking about great. All of the great artists.
Well, that's another different discussion, because you're making us think that, Asian paintings are just crap.
Yeah. I'm not saying
That's
they were
what it sounds
crap.
like.
I'm saying they were nowhere near mastery of art. Here, Luke, could you just bring up pictures of Michelangelo's paintings?
Sure.
And while you're doing that, tell us a little bit more about your comic.
Oh, we're back to me. Okay. Yeah, no, I haven't really figured out much past this yet.
Say again?
So yeah, no, I haven't figured out much past this yet.
Okay, you're
I
still.
got a couple rough ideas, but I don't want to mention them until I've actually panned it all out properly.
That's the whole point of this stream. Is just to brainstorm.
The biggest flaw for any story I would try to make is I haven't even figured out a villain yet, or villains maybe.
Yeah, you definitely you have to have that. Let's see. Well, what do we?
Plus, this is like a first stream for me, so I'm just kind of sitting on the sidelines here, just listening to people.
Now, okay, back to the premise. These characters are given powers by this government experiment program thing, and only a handful of them actually get the powers. It would make sense that the villains would also be people who got the powers in this program.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's the first.
That one had crossed my mind too.
Yeah, it makes sense. Because otherwise you had to add in different story elements. But
Luke, I put something in the comments for you, the second link.
Yeah, I saw those.
I said Luke.
I know.
All right. For comparison.
And let's see. What kind of powers do you think he should have? What would be a cool power that the others don't have that would give to the villain?
It sounds like a hack answer, but telekinesis would be good because he could counteract all of their power that way.
Yeah, he could move the flames around so they don't touch him.
Yay, Tetsuo! I like Tetsuo. Tetsuo's fun.
What? I don't know what that means.
Yeah, what is that?
Tetsuo, Akira.
Okay.
That OP telepath, telekinetic.
Okay. Oh yeah. All right.
Really OP telekinetic.
Luke, what does Becthel say? Something about goop tunes?
Akira is the Japanese equivalent of what was the movie that just got the sequel, 2049?
Blade Runner?
Blade Runner, yes, it's the Japanese version of Blade Runner.
I thought Ghost in the Shell was the Japanese version of Blade Runner.
Not really. Ghost in the Shell Japan has a lot of great cyberpunk. Akira isn't the best one. It's just the baseline, just like Blade Runner is the baseline for cyberpunk in the West. Not necessarily.
I'll make an argument for you with Japan not having as good art until the Europeans came. You got to admit that Asians are really good at taking something someone else has invented and making it better.
Cough, cough.
What? Cough, what, Rayce?
Cough, cough, French cyberpunk.
Well, they popularized it. They didn't make it better. Even though I love cyberpunk only because Japan makes the most of it, they don't necessarily make the best of it. All of the best sci-fi is still Heinlein, Asimov, fucking Lovecraft. Well, that's sci-fi horror cosmic stuff. But still, all of the best fiction that's sci-fi is definitely still Western. We just haven't gotten any from the West for a good 50 years.
At least any
Not-
other-
and-
Would Lovecraft be considered sci-fi, or would that be cosmic horror?
He
That's
has sci-fi and cosmic horror. He has a few. Well, he didn't just write about Cthulhuid stuff. One of my favorite writing of his is called The Street, and it's just a beautiful poem about the passage of time.
Hmm.
He wrote other stuff, dude. And yes, he did write some sci-fi.
No, I know he did some. He also did some fantasy on the side as well. The
Yeah,
Nyarlathotep was one of the main things in that, but
which we headcanon into being in the Cthulhu mythos.
yeah.
But go ahead.
But oh no, I was just commenting on the Lovecraft.
But as far as Japan goes, one of my favorite authors, right up there with Heinlein, Asimov, and Lovecraft, is a guy named Tsutomu Nihai. And he makes cyberpunk and mostly biopunk, to be honest.
Is he the one that
Biopunk
did
is like
Guyver?
cyberpunk, huh? Is he
Guyver
going-
style stuff?
No, he made Blame and Biomega and Abara.
In
fact-
explain to me what biopunk is.
It's like cyberpunk, but instead of machine parts, you create biological parts, and it's not like cat ears. It's not like cat ears. Like the biological parts look like machines.
Okay, so yeah, like Alien and Geiger
Yeah.
stuff.
It's like Geiger, absolutely.
Yeah.
In fact, Luke, could you just bring up a picture of Abara? Abara, A-B-A-R-A. That's not Abara. I don't think that's even Nihai.
Blame.
That's Blame. Are you sure?
Yeah.
I think that might be fan art. That's not his style.
Here we go.
Yeah, that's fan art. Bring up Abara, one of the chitinous characters. Boom. That's biopunk. There's a girl one. Bring her up. That's a black
Oh.
guana. They're called guanas. G-U-A-N-A. There's also a white guana who are usually evil. Usually.
Which is an inverse from Power Rangers.
Like one of the Abara covers, the girl in there is like really scary looking.
Where is
But-
she?
Just Abara covers here. Abara covers. Huh. Oh, that's a cool 3D model somebody made. Oh, that's kind of it. Here's one, Luke. In the message there.
Yeah, from a certain angle.
Ah, here we go. Found it. Here's the white guana. They pretty much just sick her on the guy.
Yeah.
They're like,
Going back-
"Hey,
going
open up the jail cell. Go get him." She just wrecked his shit.
But yeah, going back to Tidal Wave's comic book idea, I think the telekinesis would be an interesting thing because even with all of them put together, it would still be tough to beat up because even though they can only manipulate certain aspects of nature, whereas he could pretty much move anything.
Yeah.
Given-
Plus, he can stop their powers too, right?
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like if you try to shoot fire at him, he could probably just move the fire away. And it's more basically be a matter of are you fast enough to catch him off guard.
Yeah, exactly.
What are you doing there, Luke?
Just trying to get something inspired going.
All right.
Yeah. Plus, like, this would be a world where the Nawada character would be in it as well.
Nawada?
Yeah.
I don't know that word.
Oh, that
It's
was
the
the
god he was
Celtic
talking
god
about
I was
earlier.
talking about.
Say again?
It's the god I was talking about earlier.
Yeah, I can't find pictures of him.
Oh, the Celtic god. Okay.
Nuada. Oh, and type in Celtic after, otherwise you'll get that stupid Hellboy movie character.
Yeah, I got that.
I liked the Hellboy movies.
Yeah, they're very fun. And the second one was just that. It was meant to be just fun.
I had a
But
buddy
the
who was
girl
all
died.
about that freaking elf guy.
Mm-hmm.
Say again? Say again, Richard?
But the Kirby died. Aww. I wonder if the blue guy, if he'd ever fucked her, if the brother felt it too.
Well,
What?
No, because that's canon. Like, whatever pain or pleasure they feel, the other feels too.
Yep.
It's like a twin fucking telepathy thing.
Mm-hmm.
Here we go.
Well,
But nobody ever fucked her, so he never knew the joy of a man's penis.
oh, God.
Neither did she, but it's a tragedy for him. Because unlike her, he probably liked men.
Oh, yeah. Yep, that's how I felt about the character, too. Oh, yeah, there he is.
I feel like he would be the top, though.
Well, they do call him Silverlance.
Lol.
Plus, there's actually a lot more you could do with the Celtic mythology than you could do with the Norse or Olympian mythology. To be perfectly honest with you, I mean, yeah, the Norse gods can die, but they're all destined to die from like other gods, like other evil gods, like the Tuatha De Danann, the Celtic gods. These guys
really
drop like flies. Like, they actually pay a price when they go to war.
Yeah, and a lot of the tales of the Norse mythology have pretty much already been told. You can't really do a whole lot unless you just take a shit ton of creative liberties, like Marvel does, and basically like rewrite Norse mythology, basically.
I'll be right back.
Oh, I have a huge complaint. I was watching Diversity in Comics. Something struck me when he was talking about Femme Thor.
What's that?
Just well, it's like Thor's got to at least I think it was Diversity in Comics. It might have been Captain Cummings, but regardless, Thor has to prove that he's willing to sacrifice for the innocent, be selfless, be willing to die, face death every day, so he can hold that stupid hammer. And then you find out, what made Femthor worthy? Oh, she didn't want to die. She wanted to escape cancer. Oh, holy shit.
Wow.
Yeah, that's like legitimately why she's worthy, because she's dying of cancer and she's afraid to die.
Oh, fuck. Yeah, that's why Linchpin Comics had to exist. Because of bullshit like that.
Well, how is that even heroic? How does that make... Like, it's just...
And to be fair, what you said about Thor being worthy, that's more of a Western ideal that wasn't necessarily canon in Norse mythology. Because he was a very...
Oh, yeah, true.
He was a very prideful motherfucker.
Oh, yeah, no doubt about it, even in the old myths. But just even Marvel's take on is pathetic.
I have returned. Marvel's take on what is pathetic?
Thor.
Specifically Femthor.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, we were talking about how...
I know there was an actual Fem Loki. Was there ever a real Fem Thor in the mythology?
No.
Okay.
We were talking about how, even in the comics, like, the idea that what he represents is a very Western idea of heroism. It's a very Western idea of what Thor should be, but it's not actually canon to Norse mythology, how Thor actually is.
Fem Loki is, though.
Yes, as a woman, a horse, and a giant female.
Mm-hmm. And an ice giant.
Actually, he was the first leftist.
Yes.
LOL, laugh out loud, transgender, bestiality, brony.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Dad, I just gave birth to a six-legged horse. Cool. Can I have it?
I'm gonna ride my grandson into battle.
Yep.
No, but did you catch what I was telling everybody about?
No, I was
what
getting
made.
food.
Okay, yeah, no, I was listening to, it was either Diversity in Comics or Captain Cummings today, and he was talking about the reason that female Thor apparently is worthy of that stupid hammer is because she's got cancer and she's afraid to die.
Huh.
That's it.
Which is the inverse of regular Thor, who had to be like prove that he was selfless and willing to die.
Again, not canon for Thor.
True.
Was it ever revealed what Nick Fury said to Thor to make him unworthy of the hammer during the Who Killed the Watcher series?
I don't even know. Is Nick Fury back? All I know is that guy wound up being chained on the moon or some damn thing because he killed the Watchman.
Yep. And all he did was whisper something to Thor's ear, and Thor could no longer hold the hammer.
Probably said, "I'm your daddy."
He probably said something that made him fear death. An unworthy of the hammer or something like that.
Which would be utterly pointless since somebody else who was afraid of death was able to wield it.
Yeah. Yeah.
What is plot? The SJW will never know.
What is plot?
Yes.
That's good. I have to go again. Be right back.
Another word for scheme.
Basically. Again, that's the kind of bullshit why Linchpin Comics has to exist. Why it does. Is to get away from that kind of crap. And we're not going to go the Vox Day route of putting right-wing politics in the comics. We're just going to tell stories.
So how unpolitical do we want to stay?
Well, admittedly, some of my stuff would get marginally political, just because I think there's something to be. There's a market out there to make characters, and I can't remember who I was talking to. I think it might have been you or Eve, Rayce. What? I was talking about how it would be nice to make a comic about black superheroes who basically, they start off on the left, they start off believing all this SJW crap, and then just one day they take a look at Harlem or Compton, and they're just like, yeah, we can blame everybody else all we want all day. But if we don't change ourselves, we're never going to get better.
Yep. It's up to us to fix this.
So you'd have like superheroes, like black superheroes. Well, yeah.
They tried, and we wouldn't let them. So now we're on our own.
Yeah, and that's why you'd have black superheroes like running around in Harlem and Compton, kind of like Spider-Man style. But instead, they're just like, no, like, oh, you want to be a Crip?
Oh, I think that might have been saying that because I pitched the idea of a superhero. I forgot about this guy. The idea about a superhero, a black superhero who is a preacher. He's a very clean-cut guy, and but he also moonlights as a demon hunter.
Nice.
And
not a redneck hunter? We're talking about Far Cry 5 here?
No,
oh,
it's not. He's a little demon hunter. He has a lot of he was gonna have criticisms about a lot of the thug culture, as it were. And that
because his main adversary could be one of the 7 sins, lust or something.
To be fair, a lot of black religious leaders are just hell-bent on leading the entire black community of the America into a mass grave.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
that can be said for a lot of religious leaders.
That could be one of the villains, Al Sharpton.
Yeah. Al Sharpton's not the worst one.
Yeah, I think it's more about money than anything for him.
Yeah.
Then again, that's pretty much the case for a lot of them. It's just where they go where the money goes. If there was still money to be made on right-wing conservative, extreme right-wing conservative, like in the 80s, they'd be doing that.
Yeah. I don't know. I think regardless, there is a market for black superheroes who face down like actual issues.
Yeah, ones that are actually good, like what Black Panther was up until recently.
Oh, jeez, like, the real irony there is that an African walking around in Black America would not be received well.
No, he wouldn't.
It's like even all the way up here in frozen Canada, I know the Black Americans don't view their African cousins with much fondness.
Matt, you know how fondly the Black Africans view the Black Americans? Not very fondly.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
They chose to remain here in what now amounts to Democrat bondage instead of returning and creating their own nations. They chose that.
It's called Liberia.
Yeah, they had the opportunity to go back. Not just Liberia. There was also something similar in Haiti was going on at the time. And there was one other place, I forgot which one. They could have gone and made their own wealth in these other nations. They chose not to. They chose to stay here and just live on government dole for the most part.
Yeah.
Starting as far back as the 1930s. No. Yeah, 1930s.
I think as far as that hero that I was mentioning, the Black superhero or preacher who also moonlights as a demon hunter, we could still do that. But I don't want to get too political with it. I just want to have him actually, just be, based as opposed to actually preaching being based.
I recommend letting a based black man write that story.
Yeah.
Anybody want to get Randall Gary in on this?
Random who?
Randall Gary. I didn't know what he.
You go. Not Rayce. What is his name?
Randall Gary.
Randall Gary. Thank you.
Yeah.
I didn't even know.
Talk to him a little bit. I believe he's in art classes too.
Okay. Do you got him on Skype?
I do. I can link you his thing after.
Oh, okay. Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I try not to get too many people on this because we're working on a profit sharing model as of now, and too many people means too little profit for everybody.
How about we stop sharing it with too many people until we have a product? I'm gonna keep saying that.
Keep saying it. You only said it once. Just now.
It's what?
You said keep saying it, but you've only said it once just now.
I've said this before, not on this stream.
I don't remember you saying it.
No. Huh?
But yeah, I might end up having to do a Kickstarter to raise some money and most of the money will basically be going to, giving you guys something to live on, and then going into advertising because. The way we're doing this, it doesn't require a whole lot of money. It doesn't require a whole lot of capital. But yeah, we're not even going to do anything. We're not going to do anything like doing Kickstarter until we actually have something to show for it.
Which won't be till like December.
Probably.
Yeah, a couple pages here and there or something.
Yeah, me and Tidal Wave are going to be working on our various projects, and then Randall Gary, if he agrees to come in on this.
Hey, Luke, try to say that again. Tidal Wave and I.
Tidal Wave? I said that.
No, you said me, Tidal Wave.
All right,
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Hey, cheeky little bastard, eh?
As well, Tidal Wave and I, as well as Randall Gary, if he decides to come on. We'll be working on all of our scripts and whatever else we need to work on. I'm working on scripts. Tidal Wave is still working on just basic outlines. And so, yeah, once we actually get some stuff together, then you'll have something to do. The rest of you will have something to do. And then once we get a final product, we can start the marketing. We can start.
I'm currently just working on transferring my skills from traditional drawing to digital drawing.
Yeah.
Which is a slow process.
Yeah, technically everybody is working on something. But yeah, mostly for everybody else it's practice. They're all waiting on the writers.
Yeah, true.
But yeah,
that's why I broke everything down just to those 4 characters for the immediate future.
Yeah, I don't have a lot. I don't have a huge cast of characters either. I just have enough to propel the story forward as of right now.
Yeah.
We can always expand it later as the story requires.
So I'm actually curious here. What's this gist of the Law of the Claw?
It's after a man after a man's fiance gets killed by Muslims, he makes a deal with the demon to become a hellhound to seek vengeance. And the hellhound is basically a werewolf that breathes fire. So basically, it sounds
not bad, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not really a superhero.
It sounds friggin' 90s. That's what it sounds like, and that's always good.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very Ghost Rider-esque, but it's going to diverge a lot from Ghost Rider.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a sucker for
This could start off the cover page with Cry Havoc and Let Loose the Dogs of War.
Oh, that's good.
Well, every once in a while I have a good idea. Once in a while.
Well, anybody else have any things they'd like to pitch? Any ideas or any tweaks to ours? Or hell, even your own character you'd like to pitch?
Come on, Luke. I know you got one.
I have quite a few, but here's one of my personal, I'm not sure because I haven't fully developed this one, but well, basically this image on the screen. But imagine well, I'm going to reference everything because it's basically a lot of references. Imagine if BioShock actually worked on the land, and basically one of their best successful success stories gets banished to Earth.
Say again. Somebody was coughing.
Well, imagine a world where BioShock worked, and it's a Christian nationalist nation.
Okay.
And then after a misunderstanding with certain of the powers, because they think the powers are like a form of witchcraft that's been cursed upon them. Great, I'm all over the place on this one. Basically, the Darth Vader version of their character is banished to Earth and has trying to get back home.
So a guy gets cast out for being, they think the Christian nationalists think he's some kind of demon, and so he gets banished.
Yeah, well, but the premise is I'll just go from the beginning. In the very beginning, the slow social change, like in the 60s and the 70s, like the slow encroachment of Marxism is slowly coming into America, and some early groups of people realize, you know what, this society is actually not going to be well for us. And so what they don't realize is they've actually found a portal to a parallel world where they can run away and create their own society. So in this society, they've actually, they've had to adapt to the world around them, and so they create chemicals and tools to help them survive. Unfortunately, these tools got transferred over to the next generation from the form of telekinesis, which they misinterpret as witchcraft. And so a slower underclass of people, well, a secret class of people exists that can control telekinesis, and one of them is one of the most talented people her name is Alinta. And even though she's part of this underclass of people who are deemed as witches and evil people, she still loves the society that she lives in. Unfortunately, the rest of her class, her telekinetic class, tries to commit a rebellion and nearly kills a whole bunch of people, but she fights back against them.
Okay.
After years of fighting back against them, they find a way to banish her back to Earth, and she has to get back to Earth before her home is lost to these psychotic telepaths.
Okay, sounds interesting.
And on the way back, she's basically she befriends this one guy. She's over the years after the rebellion, she become horribly jaded, cynical, and callous. And so she meets this guy who's basically a wimpy little, kind of a quasi wimpy kind of beta kind of guy. But as they travel together, he becomes more confident, and she becomes more feminine again.
Interesting.
The effects of good dick. They're magical.
Oh, you're back.
Yes, I'm back.
I'm glad you finished coughing. I hope you're doing well.
Yeah, I had to get some cranberry juice because I'm trying to get the caffeine out of my system. I'm suffering from caffeine withdrawal at the moment. I'm seeing if cranberry juice helps. And sometimes it doesn't go down too well.
I know I have better pictures to show. I had it made a while ago.
Oh, Eve is just straight up gone. She hasn't been here, has she?
Oh, yeah. Oh, where'd she go? Oh, did she?
Well, she has a life outside of here, guys.
Well, yeah, but I mean, she didn't say she was leaving. She just up and left.
Yeah, she does that.
Yeah, that's not very polite.
And it'll take me a minute. I had to bear references. But anyway, the thing is, I'm concerned about being too political because I know we're trying to be too political because basically she grew up in a society in a world that didn't have the Cultural Revolution, so they're basically people who are kind of stuck in the 60s society. And so when she sees this world, like when she sees an abortion, by people like praying for abortion, she wants to strangle them to death.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, jeez.
Well, that's not too much out of the realm of possibility.
And of course she you know the whole there's always jokes about the alt-right being kind of this quasi-fascist mentality, because the thing is she's been trying too strong and too forceful in her tactics, and so the idea of killing someone is not out of her realm of possibility.
If our descendants decide, and they will agree, that it is murder to perform abortion, it will be viewed as one of the I'd put it close to top 10 genocides in history, like up there with a lot of others. 60 million at least in America in the last 60 years.
Oh yeah, also because she'll not always telekinetic because she's also telepathic, but she can only get minds of people of immediate thought. So she asks someone, like if she asks someone like what's this parade about, and they start describing it, she can read what their immediate thoughts are about it.
Okay, so that kind of sounds like we're getting into political commentary a bit.
Yeah.
So
that's what I mean. That's what I mean. I'm not sure if the idea is too political.
It sounds like.
Well, you know what? You could get away with it if it was like one small like chapter out of the entire book.
Yeah, the thing is about politics and comics is that it's really only useful if it's a political thriller, or if it's presenting various viewpoints very even-handedly, very fairly. And like, for example, X-Men is all about identity politics, for how it always has been. But it's always approached it in a very even-handed way.
Of course, the telekinetic powers are just for means of convenience, because if she get someone to just ask out, like, where is she located, and they're saying they're not going to tell them, she can immediately get what their immediate thoughts are on, like, where they're actually hiding someone. Like, she can get past the whole, pretense.
Yeah, that'd be useful.
And of course, what her premise is, like, unfortunately, the home back to the portal to her world is cut off, and so she has to find whatever remnants they have to get back to her home world.
Okay.
And so that's pretty much all most of the details. I mean, there are specifics I'm trying to work out, like when eventually she gets back home. But unfortunately, I think it's maybe too political advantage, because most of my best moments, she's kind of like the manifestation of my natural reflex towards political enemies. Like it's it would be so much easier just to force people to shut up or force people down than to actually reason with them. But that might be a discussion of what direction we want to have Linchpin to be in.
Well, we can always have a little bit of room for a few political views. I mean, you can't. Each one of our characters is going to have a little bit of us in the middle.
Yeah, the thing about politics is it's usually trying to have it even-handed. Actually, have a discourse in the comics as it have it being completely one-sided. The problem with SJW Marvel, it's completely one-sided to such an insane degree. And,
well, yeah, Spider-Man currently doesn't have just a little bit of Dan Slott. He's got a whole ton of Dan Slott.
Yeah. And also, a lot of the political stuff can be presented as allegory. That way, you can have things represent, certain political things you don't like, but it's not overtly. Usually, you have to be subtle about this kind of thing.
Oops.
Yeah, and it's not actually too hard to be even-handed on it either, because you got a lot of dipshit conservatives out there too.
And of course, the whole point of her be automatically using violence is a commentary of how you can't use violence to solve your problems.
Done.
Yeah.
True.
Of course, I haven't fleshed out all the details yet, because I'm still because the whole transition of her becoming human again. Like one of my favorite scenes is like a moment we obviously traveling together. There's sexual tension, and unfortunately, she has a certain betrayal issues that she has to get over, and there's a certain line I want to insert there. He says, I know that you're not going to hurt me. I just don't believe that you won't.
He says that?
Yeah.
All right.
And so that's my idea. And if you'll permit me,
there's definitely something there that we can work with. I'm just worried about. I'm just about it being too much political commentary. That's the only thing I'm worried about. Because that's the whole point of Linchpin Comics, to get away from political crap altogether, or at least as much as we can, which should be easy. Because again, you can always put on this veneer of allegory. You can present political ideas without it even looking political.
Mm-hmm.
Because you got to be subtle with that sort of thing.
Like, I'm sending you a picture of what the character. Actually, I'll put it on the screen. How long ago was this?
This is what the hell was that?
Why'd you share it in Skype?
Yeah,
it's on my phone. I can't share it directly.
Okay.
I'll post on my screen now. If it'll let me open. And there we go. There we go.
It's not bad.
If the idea of it being that it's basically a Christian nationalist nation, like a Christian theocracy, I don't know. Part of me doesn't want to do that because religion is so tied up in politics right now.
Yeah.
But the idea of it being
true.
that's just the environment that it's in. It doesn't necessarily mean we're promoting it. That's just the environment.
Right.
We're not going to have to say that's a good or a bad thing. It's just the way it is.
No, that's the best. That's the one that the idea is kicking in my head at the moment.
What about the ideas you have written down?
Hey, Luke.
Yes.
Inspiration for your character, inspiration for the kind of society that your character would come from. You should do a little bit of reading for Solomon Kane.
Solomon Kane.
Yeah.
I hear
good character. He was a character written by Robert E. Howard, and he was, as far as I'm concerned, he's one of the best Christian pulp heroes out there. But he's a Puritan Christian, and over his adventures, he learns to become more malleable with the means he's willing to use, because he winds up meeting and wind up becoming good friends with a African shaman.
Was this the character, or is this just a modern interpretation of it?
Yeah, that's the movie character. Just look up one of the actual drawings of him, though. He's very much in the vein of like Kull and Conan.
Yes.
So basically, as the journey goes on, he evolves into having a more balanced perspective. Solomon Kane.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Users.
What happened?
Hello?
Like this one?
That guy. That looks.
That.
He looks kind of like D from D, the vampire.
No. Correction. D looks like him.
True, probably.
I've heard good things about this comic, but I've never actually read it myself.
I've got some of the more recent ones, and they're actually pretty good. Dark Horse stayed good with them. In fact, Rayce, with your black preacher demon hunter guy, you could use this guy as an example too.
I imagine. Because I don't think he's going to be quite as Puritan, though. We'll see.
Oh, that's the thing. That's the thing with Solomon Kane. He legit looks at somebody who really gets on his nerves, and he's like, "Sir, I'm not a man given to violence, but how you sorely tempt me." And the point is that Solomon Kane was like a soldier in the in the wars between the Protestants and the Catholics. So he's a ruthless murderer when he needs to be. But just some inspiration for you guys on that one.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Is that an orc?
That looks like it. An orc dressed like a mafioso with a Tommy gun.
Holy shit, we're doing Shadowrun now?
That's where my mind went to.
That's a good place to go, man. Shadowrun was really good.
I only played once. It was great. Great.
The other thing too, there, Rayce. When it comes to the characters, what do you think about doing stories where the characters basically abandon their politics?
You mean how do you mean?
Well, like just in regards to my characters, they basically all four of them start off on 4 different spectrums of politics. Like one of them's the typical Black Lives Matter angry female, and the other guy is basically a, for lack of a better comparison, a Richard Spencer-y kind of guy, right? Trust fund baby.
Sure.
And it's like they go through their, as they grow as heroes to the point where they're in their 30s, where I would start the story. It's like they've come to realize that basically politics is BS and you go for the greater good.
That sounds good.
It's like always trying to find the objective good, not the
my
good.
In a lot of my stuff, it's like politics never even comes up. It's just we're telling stories. That's how I always look at my comics. It's like because politics should only ever come up if it's relevant to the story. Like with Luke's idea, your politics would be very relevant to the story, because religion is so intertwined with politics anymore that it's very hard to separate the two for most people.
Yeah, and with that said, I'm gonna have that's all the ideas I have at the moment. So I'm gonna have to. If it's all right with you guys, I'm gonna log off.
Oh, that's fine. I was actually thinking about going ahead and ending the stream.
Thank you.
Okay, yeah, I don't. Yeah, Richard or Nonsensical Rants has already told me he doesn't have many ideas of his own he wants to contribute to Linchpin.
I have plenty of my own ideas. I'm just going to do them myself.
Yeah, because you have another project that I'm not going to mention.
Yep.
Because you've told me not to mention it. And yeah, Eve's not here, so I don't know why she just disappeared, but yeah, I'll have to ask her some other time if she has anything. But yeah, we got a lot done today. I think we got a lot of stuff that we can work with. Now she's actually getting to work.
Yeah, and I finally learned how to not be a technological handicap.
All right.
Bye.
See ya.
Later.
All right.
Later, boys.
Right. See ya. All right. Thank you all for listening, and thank you for everybody who contributed. And you'll be hearing from us again very soon. I am sure. Be sure to click all the buttons, click all the links, and see you all next time. Good night.